Good evening, Doug. How are you?
Doing well, sir. How about you?
Great. Welcome to Brothers and Booze, where it's a Friday and we have booze together.
Yeah.
There's no other
usual. Yeah.
There's no other parameters. I mean, our guest was under the assumption that she had to drink beer, so she apologized to us that she's bringing wine, and I'm like, I don't even understand this conversation.
Yeah, we do say brothers and booze. We don't really say brothers
Right.
and beer. And we've had people drink all sorts of things, even water on our show, just because that's what they had to drink. We're all cool with it. So what you got there in the glass?
I got a new boyfriend over here with Manny. That's good to know.
Hey. Oh, man.
I have a Czech style Pilsner from Working Draft Beer Company. The wonderful adult that lives with me went and got me curbside yesterday, it was today. Days mesh. Sorry. But yeah, it's you know what we like in the pills, man. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Crisp, bready. Look at that, nice clear. Glass looks pretty good. Delta Beer Lab, nice little glass. Yeah.
So you got a nice and crisp one. That's good. I know. Yeah, Rambo, you're right. We were nothing if not gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, Doug, so what do you I'm starting off light and refreshing, and man, this is going down good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to start with something I don't think you've seen me drink on the show. A pastry sour. Key lime pie, doing it for the gram. Oh, bad pun by Stony Brewing.
Bad, good, depending on how corny you like your puns.
Well, I'm super corny, so I loved it. But yeah.
I tend to the super corny side too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Nice dirty glass.
Oh, you didn't do that water rinse before?
No, I didn't. I forgot.
No worries.
Yeah.
Same beer.
A nice lime on the nose, which is what you'd expect. Even can smell like the like, you know how you get the key lime pie and it has like the cream on the top? I can actually kind of smell that on the nose too.
All right.
All right. I'm not even actually sure how to describe that. Definitely limey. I don't get a lot of the graham cracker flavor, a little bit of the cream taste, but it's sweet and sour. Like it starts sweet and finishes sour. So that's really interesting.
Okay. Great. Wonderful. So,
I would say that is definitely like a warm weather beer.
And so is this. This is lawnmower, probably shower, crisp, light, wonderful. So that's more fruity than anything going on over there.
Yeah. It's like the lime is what's really pronounced. But key lime pie. If you ever, that shit's like lime all up in your grill when you eat that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely got those notes. So that's good. It starts sweet and finishes slightly sour. So I really like it.
Yeah, and key lime too is one of those. I don't know, if you had to pin it on anywhere on the calendar, it would be the spring, right? So it doesn't come up as a fall thing to me. Doesn't come up as a holiday thing to me. I don't know. When are y'all, whoever's watching, when do y'all get the key lime pie?
Yeah,
but I'm with Doug. I think or Doug, did you say it's like to me it'd be a springtime thing, or at least
I will preface this by saying that is my favorite pie on the planet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's one of my favorite desserts on the planet, that and banana pudding. So I will have it any time of year, but I think it's definitely more of a spring summer thing if you're going to go like seasonal kind of pie.
Darren says spring summer.
Yeah, you got that one right.
You got to be a special person.
Kelly.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
No, she's right though. There's a it's like it's really, really, for lack of a better word, limey, right?
Yeah. Which, like I said, it's if you're gonna have key lime pie, that's what you want. You want that flavor to be all super up in your face. So yeah.
There you go, Doug. Well, this is a guest that you've introduced to our stream, so I'm going to let you introduce her.
All right, so we're welcoming back for a third time around is our friend Renee Pickup, author, editor, all around badass. Has got a new media company. Yeah, I just she's a good one, folks. Hi, Renee.
Hi,
Is
Renee.
this like on SNL? If I come back 2 more times, you get like a jacket.
Ooh, hey, no, we could do a beer trophy or something like that.
There you go.
Third time is probably the most.
No,
Ooh.
no,
Oh.
Jeffrey has been on.
Oh, okay.
One more time than Renee.
Or Jeffrey. Look at Doug, man. I didn't know you were that I don't know, what is that? Photographic memory?
Eidetic? No, I don't have an eidetic memory. I will say, however, before we start, I have a weird ability to have a beer and I can remember years later what it tasted like and where I had it. I don't know how I do that.
Do you remember the people that you were drinking it with?
Sometimes. Depends on the company.
Now we know what's important to know.
Right.
I had my suspicions.
Yeah.
So what's in the glass, Renee?
So I've got this shout out, by the way. There's a shop that's only been open for a few months in town called The Bottle Shop, and they were advertising this Portuguese rosé. And I'm Portuguese, and I love rosé because I am a white girl. There's some things that we can't help in our genes. So I thought I could
wait.
and grab it.
Hold on, white girls in rosé?
I think it's like your wine mom wine, right? Where I'm not really a wine mom, but I will enjoy a good bottle of wine, especially when it's got something like, it comes from Portugal. And they're really cool there. He's like presenting the bottle and like telling me how these grapes are only grown in Portugal. So it's very unique. And it was $13, so it didn't seem like too much of a chance. I haven't tasted it yet. So we're going to see if it has the watermelon and strawberry and stuff that he claimed it would have, like live on the air. Hopefully it doesn't suck.
I just want to make a real quick comment, and then Doug, I'll jump over to you for a first question. But my quick comment is that I just realized, or I just saw a recent, article or something that said that like most of the wine industry is $20 and below.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was on Shark Tank or something like that. My point is that like I was just fascinated by that. There's a thinking out there that wine is for sophisticated people who have money, and you know what I mean. And wine is really, really accessible to everyone at this point.
If you saw this shop that I got this wine in, you would think, oh, that's out of my range. It's like very beautiful, minimalist design. They'll sit there and, like I said, tell you about the grapes that are in the bottle you're buying and all this. And I would say at least half of the wine there is under 20. And then in the cooler, they sell like cans of wine. So.
So I shop usually I'm the one that goes out and gets wine, booze, and groceries and all that stuff. And almost all the wine I buy for Jill is always like $15 or less. Like there's some of you can certainly go expensive there, but there's plenty of quality wines that you can get for under $20.
I'm gonna tell you guys something that this is like an exclusive. Okay, nobody knows this about me. My favorite wine is like only available at Target, and it's $5 a bottle.
What is it?
It's called California Roots. I like their rosé. I tried their white, but I can't even remember what kind of white it was. I'm not like a big wine person, but whenever there's not a Target where I live, there's not a Target for like an hour, but whenever I'm somewhere where there is a Target, I'll go and buy like 4 bottles of it. Keep 3 in the cabinet and 1 in the fridge.
Yeah. Hey,
wow.
I don't think the price really matters if you like it, right? I mean, we've said that a lot of times, like somebody will like certain kinds of beer that maybe we think is not what we would drink, but fuck it. If you like it, drink it.
If you like it and it's $5, it's even better because you can have as much as you want.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, look at Darren says $8.99 or less. He laughs, but I don't even. I think he's probably really serious.
There's this wine place I go near my house. It's near Wegmans. They have a whole section of just $6 bottles of wine.
Wow.
And I'll get some of them. And like I said, I'm not a wine drinker. It's one of the few alcohols that actually gives me hangovers, especially reds.
Yeah.
But Jill likes it, so I will get whatever. And I've gotten her some of those $6 ones, and she's like, they're perfectly fine. So.
Reggae wine, $7.99. There you go. Someone earlier just commented that they actually did a study on it, and I was aware of this. That they did the study and trained sommeliers who were supposed to be the experts. They couldn't tell the difference between the super expensive wine and the super cheap wine. Yeah, it's just like you could sit there and be like, oh, the bouquet of the blah blah blah, but in reality, it really just comes down to what you like or what you don't like.
Yep, everybody's palate's all different. So, like, what you like might not be what somebody else likes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder if that was I'm in the alcohol scene now. I wonder if that was always the case. I assume that it wasn't. Meaning, at some point wine was more unaccessible to regular folks like us. And at some point, I think, like there's just so much demand at this point. So many good people making good wine. It kind of reminds me of craft beer a little bit, but it's different.
Yeah. Well, so what's really interesting. So I, a couple of years ago, moved from the Temecula area, and they're like the new Southern California wine country. But when they started building Temecula in the 90s, and they started making wine, the wine was terrible. Because it all comes down to like your dirt. And they couldn't grow grapes that tasted good, basically. But, with modern technology and you can bring, you can move large amounts of dirt, you can whatever, they were able to use the science and whatever else to get their dirt to be better and produce grapes that made good wine. And now Temecula wine is decent wine, whereas before nobody wanted it.
Wow. Okay. If you're curious about Texas wine, Texas grown grapes, consider Chermy or Marine Black O.
Oh,
Cheers.
That's excellent.
Cool. Awesome. Right.
Yeah, I live
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I live like an hour from Finger Lakes wine country. So, I mean, it's something about the climate where the Finger Lakes are and how the dirt is from the lakes that create certain grapes that grow. Most of their stuff is not most. I guess there's a fair amount of them who are sweet wines because the grapes grow sweeter there. But
I wonder if there's any cloning going on and messing around like that. Because we know in the beer industry, Doug, that as far as they fuck with the yeast a lot, but propagating again and brewers share it. All that science that goes into that. I'm probably sure that that's part of what Renee was talking about as far as another angle of the the science that is involved, whether it be the dirt or maybe they're cross gendering grapes and
or even the water, right? Because that's supposed to be the big difference between Guinness in Ireland and Guinness here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I know a little bit from the few winery tours I've done that they do a lot of grafting to try to graft different strains of grapes together to get different flavor profiles from the grapes, but I don't know how successful that is. But I'm
not a scientist.
like that cross pollination stuff that people do with flowers and all that jazz, and that's just like way above my
right.
So it's like, what? Okay, you do that. I'll trust you because
I'll drink it. Yeah,
I'll drink it. It'll be fine.
Where'd Greg go?
What's that?
Oh, I'm here. I'm just.
Or he's not here.
He's doing some experiments. He's grafting grapes.
Yeah, just teeing up my second one because this first one here went down really, really fast. So it's nice, light. I've been drinking a lot of IPAs lately and kind of the same beer. So Working Draft Beer Company, again, another shout out. Not only do they do curbside, Doug, but they do singles. so I don't have to buy 4-packs. They do normally 4-packs. So I was able to go through and put all singles in, and I was like, yeah, great. So Doug, I think you're gonna like this one, but this is the next one that we did. It's called Justified IPA. African American lady on it. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful can work. This is a collaboration / charity beer for a charity called Justified Anger here in Madison, Wisconsin. I could read the whole label, but I won't. But it's an initiative with the goal of creating a movement that will unite leadership, vision, and policy and strategy to identify the gaps in services, an area of need, and plan and implement long-term strategies to improve the lives of African Americans in Madison, Wisconsin. So, cheers to this one. Another one one more thing I want to talk about this beer is that, like, when I went to the website, it's a hazy West Coast hazy IPA. So what I like what the breweries did, and more breweries need to do this, is that they put this on $1 sale. It's an IPA, and they said basically it's long in the tooth. It's had better days. Yeah. It's an IPA. We brewed it a while ago, but we quality tested it. We still think it's pretty good, but it's not fresh. It's not, you know what I mean? So we'll give you $1 off, but we're telling you that in advance. And I was like, great, I will buy that because at least you're honest. Yeah. And at least you're upfront. Yeah. And at least it's not, I get on live stream here and we're drinking IPAs from 2 years ago. And
which has happened.
You know, no one's a beer expert here, and no one's claiming to be, but we've drank enough beer together, Doug, that we should know better.
Yeah, we don't.
So Renee, so we talked about this before, but for people who've never met you, so what do you classify yourself as a drinker? We started off with the wine, but you said that you're not. That's not your usual gig. Where are you at?
Drinker. I used to be really into craft beer, and then I started seeing a nutritionist, and they're like, "You don't drink beer." So then I switched to whiskey, and then I kind of stopped giving a crap if I gain weight or not. But then I discovered the whole world of whiskey, which is like another deep dive, just like craft beer can be. Mm-hmm. And now I'm my husband is a really great bartender. It's not his profession, but it's like his hobby. So I'll drink just about anything, but I do like a glass of wine every now and then. And I still experiment with the craft beer. I know the first time I was on the show, I got really excited about beer, and I went and bought like $100 worth of beer. And one of them was really bad, and it's still in my fridge, the remaining 3 cans.
Oh, man. Okay.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, what I also heard from your answer was, what'd you say? You said, oh, my husband, you know, he makes drinks, but he doesn't, you know, it's more of a hobby than a profession. And then you said, I'll drink, you'll pretty much, I'll try anything. And I was like, what I heard was, I'll try anything that he mixes up for me.
Oh yeah.
That's what I heard. I was like, oh, that's a great relationship that you guys got going on. Come on, hubby, mix me something, and you guys both try it, and that's always a fun way to try new things.
Well, he has like different kinds of bitters, and like he makes his own tonic water occasionally. It's really amazing, and like he really gets into kind of the, you know, like when you're cooking a good meal and you like, well, just enough of this herb is going to make this thing really pop or whatever. Like he does that in a glass. And so it's really fun. And it's a lot cheaper at home than to have like an artisanal cocktail somewhere. So.
Right. Well, and within the past year, we've had no choice. So then.
Well, that too. Yeah. Easy transition for us.
Oh, man. So Darren says, as much as I've tried, I just can't get a taste for beer. Major brand IPA local. Yeah. Normally I would say you need to try more beer. But because most people say, and you know this is true, Doug, most people try Bud Light, you know, or the mainstream lagers and say they don't like beer. And we don't like that beer either, mostly. But sometimes if you would roll with me for a day, we go to a bunch of breweries, we try 15 different styles, and breweries doing those styles 3 different ways, whether it be IPAs or stouts. I usually can get people on something that they like a little bit, but sometimes no. Yeah, right. So I used to be more gung ho about I can flip you, but sometimes it's just not in the books. And I don't know, with one of the great things about our country is the diversity of where we can go, and the diversity of our small businesses, craft breweries, craft distilleries, craft wineries. I mean, just the whole level of, I hope a lot of this comes back soon. And I hope a lot of them sustain. But like, we have such a good, we did have such a good mix where, there were times where, Doug and I know you travel, you get places where like they have the craft beer place, and right up the same hall, you don't have to leave that. You don't even have to leave the building. There's a meadery, or there's a distillery, or there's some kind of like, young, small business, mom and pop shop, just making alcohol, whether it be wine. Yeah. So with all those choices, I'm like, just come out and we'll hit a distillery too.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll hit a mixed cocktail place. We'll hit I love dive bars as long as you have a decent, to me a good dive bar has a decent, selection of beers. So I'll hit a good dive bar, get some cocktails. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Just make sure when you're here the next time we go.
Oh, the backstory, Renee. Greg has been in Darren's neighborhood multiple times.
Greg's leaving.
And didn't even bother to reach out to Darren to see if he was available to hang out.
Rough.
So Darren just gives him shit all the time, and rightfully so.
And I leave.
Right, so, Renee, can I ask that question about the cocktail part with your husband? Is there a particular does he try all different kinds of things, or is he like, I like making a lot of gin cocktails or like a lot of whiskey cocktails? Is there more of a preference he has, or does he just try to?
He loves gin. We probably have 10 different kinds of gin right now. And probably some of it hasn't been opened yet. Because Hendrix does these limited editions, so he'll get 1 or 2 bottles of that every time it comes out. If he hears about a new kind of gin, or if he sees something he hasn't seen before, he buys it. So he's huge on gin. I don't like gin that much. Although there are cocktails he makes with gin that I will happily drink. When you can get them, like when you can have it your way, like you can Burger King it,
Yes.
But he also loves doing different kinds of margaritas, which is fun. We did prickly pear margaritas with our own prickly pear, which was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to stop at the prickly pear. I gotta soak that one in. Those are really good.
Oh yeah. And
there's Shiner made a prickly pear. I think it was a golden ale or something like that. It was delicious.
Yeah.
It was really good. That sounds that with the prickly pear stuff. I'd never had it, and that sounds awesome.
We'll buy the syrup like anybody in the modern world, but we also have a ton of prickly pear cactus. So last year when it was time to get it all before it went off, we made some of our own prickly pear syrup, and that was really fun. Really hard, really prickly. Like it's not a lie. They're not misleading you, but it's really good. And then we got the Danny Trejo's Tacos cookbook, which, despite the fact that he doesn't drink, he included a lot of margarita recipes because he knows, Mexican food and margaritas. So we've tried a lot of those. And
man.
And then he does a ton of whiskey cocktails because I drink whiskey. So
the prickly pear stuff too is like, it's almost like how when you use beets and it's like so bright colored, like it's like super bright, like it's really kind of
look like I had lipstick stains on my hands for like a week after we prepped those prickly pears.
Yeah.
Well, that makes you appreciate it more. Jerry has a fantastic comment here. Gin and tonic is the business. Absolutely. I love gin and tonics. I love it. They're my go-to, especially at the end of a beer drinking day.
Yeah.
Really?
For sure. Yeah, it's light. Sometimes my palate is just done with beer. So even if I drink a beer, I won't be able to, taste it as as well. So then you go into something like gin and tonic that's really, really not offensive. In that kind of way. In a palate like blasting way. I don't want my palate to be blasted. Yeah. And then tomorrow's International Whiskey Day. Didn't know that.
I didn't either, but I'm gonna be having whiskey tomorrow.
Michael James Jackson's birthday, so whiskey's in order.
It's Diana Ross's birthday today, by the way. I found that out. That was another useful piece of information I got from my local bottle shop.
Wow, that must have been some kind of a visit.
Yeah,
it's like 2 minutes.
And all kinds of education.
Quality is quality. It's like, oh, we're playing Diana Ross because it's her 77th birthday, and I was like, oh, cool.
You said there were a new place too. You want to shout them out again?
It's called the Bottle Shop in downtown Joshua Tree. Tourism is what it is out here because it's outdoors for the most part. So they are seeing a lot of business, but mask, hand sanitizer, all that.
Yeah.
They are not letting more than a couple people in at a time. So get into the bottle shop if you're around.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cheers to that, Doug.
All right, so I'm gonna pop open my second beer since Greg's ahead of me. First one was a key lime. Next one is black cherry stout. Started with key lime, now going to black cherry.
Okay.
So this is that. So Greg, if you remember the wheat wine I sent you, that this is the same series from the same brewery. This is it's a neoteric series. I'm not sure what neoteric means, but you know how breweries do that. They'll do a series of things that are in the same sort of vein. Look at that. Pouring blue, 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 blue. Too shabby. A little dirty. Sorry, folks. Dirty glass gang. Barely any cherry on the nose. Really surprisingly roasty, which is what I wasn't expecting. But yeah, really roasty. Almost like roasty, like porter roasty, not like stout roast. Like, yeah. Interesting. And a little tiny cherry flavor. The cherry flavor is very muted. Somebody who McKeever would probably actually enjoy this, even though he hates cherry in his stuff because the cherry is so minimal.
I was gonna say, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely.
If he was in the comments, he already be bitching about it.
He's also on vacation. I don't know if you saw him. He's down in the freaking Carolinas on the beach.
Right. But you know I'm right though. He'd be bitching about it if he heard it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's see. Video or sponsor?
Well, video first, then sponsor.
I don't know what these people are up to here.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Don't read it. You don't know what it is.
What is that?
What's that?
Like colored flour.
These stress me out because I feel like one day you're going to do it to the wrong person and we're going to get the life beat out of you. Like, they stress me out so bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you expect some guy just to turn around and just clock the dude.
Renee, my thunder. Like, you got balls to try this during the pandemic when people are on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think everybody starts a little bit more edgier during the pandemic, just for whatever reason. Your job, your safety. Hell, even if you believe it's fake and you don't want to wear masks, everybody is like a level. So you're really, really asking for it, in my opinion, Renee.
Yeah.
If you do anything to anyone, like, I mean, we've had people killed because they tried to get people not to come in because they were wearing a mask and someone died. So like they were doing their job, so they weren't even doing anything like, you know, like I mean
plus when you scare somebody, like this is the thing, is like when you startle somebody, there's a moment when you're startled that you are not in control of yourself, where you are not thinking about like, is this someone playing a prank on me? Or like, should I beat the crap out of somebody in a Home Depot? You're just reacting. And some people react really poorly.
I mean, not everybody's like that guy. He's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm getting out of here. Like,
yeah. And also that little pop noise, like the wrong person could take that to be something completely different.
Yeah,
like a gun.
A lot of people carry.
Yes. Yes, Victor. Thank you for that.
Okay.
They make good beer, I'm telling you.
Wouldn't people know they're being pranked when someone's taking a video of it?
Well, what if that person is discreetly filming it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I personally have held my phone up to like take a picture of something so that maybe it just looks like I'm reading on my phone. But I know that some people do that. I know it's a possibility.
I got you. There is someone there taping that every time, right, Jade? Correct.
If you were like holding your phone like this at Home Depot and you were just pretending to scroll, especially at a Home Depot, people might be trying to see what kind of screw.
Right. Now everybody has their phones out. The lady wins again. Yeah. No, and no surprise here either. No. I'm not sure what we do with people like this stuff.
No shit, lady. Well, why did you go on the fucking floor? The fucking idiot that said I did it. And he told all these people that I did it. They thought they really believed it.
I already have notes. They did it.
Fuck, you don't have shit, lady.
I'm sorry.
Fuck that. Call my ass. Come on, Kim. Get the fuck out of here. Bullshit.
She's
the fucker's still over there.
Why are you talking to her that way for, dude?
Huh?
Why are you talking to her that way?
What do you care?
You're disrespectful
what do
to
you
a woman, dude.
That's her job.
Dude, it's not her job to get yelled at by you.
She's not a woman, a man. She's
You're cursing at her. You're cursing at her.
Fuck off.
You fuck off, dude.
Fuck off. Fuck
you got some great manners there,
Shut
dude.
Your mouth.
Put your mask up, bro.
Huh?
Put your mask up.
Fuck.
How about I cough on you?
How's that fuck?
Yeah, you're a great dude, aren't you?
Wow. Oh.
Sometimes violence is the answer.
Couple things going on too. Renee is right again, and this second clip showed it. Like this dude has this camera in this dude's face, and he doesn't even see it.
Come on, Kim. Get the fuck out
like
of here.
Right here, look, he's right.
Bullshit.
Right here.
Why are you talking to her that way for, dude?
Huh?
Like until the guy starts talking to him, he doesn't even see the guy with the camera like this. Like, you know what I mean? He's just going about his shit. And like the guy's literally like there. And then when the guy says, hey, that's a lady, what the hell you doing? Then he's like, oh, what? Like, you know what I mean? So Renee's right. I think we just go through life. And I think like people have their cameras up more than we could, like more, you know, sometimes we're just in our own shit and we don't, right. We're not looking around. So like there is, because again, the guy was taping that thing the whole time. And if I don't even know if he wouldn't have said anything, the guy would have saw him being taped. So
I feel like maybe that's what happened, right? Is maybe he thought, well, I'll tape this guy and he'll see he's being taped and he'll watch his shit. And then
he
didn't.
Fuck,
no,
you
he
don't
didn't.
have shit, lady.
I'm sorry.
Fuck that. Call my ass. Come on, Kim. Get the fuck out of here.
So this is another thing I wanted to point out. And I saw
You're still over
Why
there.
are you talking to her that way for, dude?
Huh?
Why are you talking to her that way?
What do you care?
You're disrespectful
What do
to
you
a
care?
woman, dude.
That's her job.
Dude, it's not.
So like this is how misogynists and assholes can get around this whole that's a woman thing. It's a woman, it's a man. It doesn't matter. That's her job. Like you're completely. Or what are you gonna say, Renee?
I was gonna say the same thing when he says if she's not a man or a woman, she's an employee. So
right.
he crosses them on top of that.
Right. Right. So we're just gonna dismiss your whole identity and who you are because I'm mad and I'm just going to reflex again. You know what I mean? Does it? Is it? You know what I mean? Like that's how they justify their bullshit.
Everybody should have to work a year in retail and a year in food service. Everybody.
right after high school and shit.
Yeah.
That's your first 2 years.
I worked in high school. I had people throw money in my face. Like I got called names. Like you wouldn't believe it. And now, you know, as an adult, every time I'm in a retail environment or a restaurant or whatever, like I'm trying my best not to do anything that's going to screw that person's day up or take my anger out on them. Or like if they're out of something, I know that cashier is not the person in charge of ordering for the store or whatever. Like I know how horrible that job is. So I go into those situations like, how do I make sure that I'm not contributing to that? You know?
Where'd you work?
I worked at Target and I worked at Borders. Those were my two big retail ones.
Doug, what was your retail?
Oh, I had retail and food service work. I worked at a
Me too,
Hardee's.
yeah.
I worked at a Hardee's for 2 years, and let me tell you, that was a freaking experience because all sorts of yelling. Not a fun job. I learned a lot about work environments, but not in a great way.
Yeah, I worked at a Wendy's in high school, so
Taco Bell, Best Buy.
Well, I have a retail one for you that will take you way back. The Wall.
The
You guys-
Wall.
That was a record, like back then it was all cassettes. That's how far back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that was like Sam Goody for like, but East Coast, I think.
Okay.
Spencer's. I always wanted to work there, but I couldn't ever like figure out. But I couldn't work at the mall because it was too far. The mall that the Spencer's was at, which is Lehigh Valley Mall. For people who know Lehigh Valley, I was too far from there, and I didn't have like a. I mean, I could have took the bus, but you know how it was when you were younger. You know, you had the bus, so you had to get like your parents had to be available to drop you off, or like it had to be close to your work. Or
the bus isn't always an option because it could take like an hour to go.
Right.
10 minutes. So if you're working after school, you don't have an hour to get to work.
Right. And I love it. People, please, everybody, where did you work? Put it in the comments. Walden Book, Treasure Island?
That was a grocery store.
Grocery store called Treasure Island?
That is a strange name for a
it is. Oh, Grandy's, a bakery, Levi's, and Bose. I worked at Radio Shack. I had so many jobs. I was that guy that jumped from job to job. And I don't even remember, like now that I look back, I don't remember, like I got fired from a few places, but I usually left places. Like I would just figure out quick that like, this wasn't my shit and I'm out. Like I've had jobs that were like a week, and then I've had jobs that were for years. And I worked at Pizza Hut. I delivered pizzas for years. For years, I delivered pizza.
Years. I like how you emphasize years.
Right. But like all these other ones, like the movie theater, I worked at 2 Taco Bells, so that was like probably like 6 months each or something. I don't know.
Times like not like you transferred to another store, but like you worked at Taco Bell, you quit, and then
yeah. And then like we did a lot of moving too, so that kind of moving like not like cities, but you know, moving within the city. How about that? So then when I moved, that would change my ability because I don't know about you, but I didn't really want to string my mother into my looking back now, I didn't want to string my mother into my money making things. Meaning I wanted it to be something that I didn't have to deal with her or ask her for a ride or any of that. I wanted to like, you know, make sure because we weren't my mother and I weren't, I mean, we're great. I mean, we're fine as far as like living together and all that, but we weren't like, I knew it was a thing where I would push it. Like I wouldn't want to push it. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's like normal for a teenager, right? Like you don't like, that's when you're naturally starting to be like, I need my parents to not be in my shit.
Right. And then my mother, I'm single mother too. And she was, you know, single mother, the only one had an income. And then she had my brother who was 10 years younger than me. So I kind of wanted it to be more like, hey, I got this. You don't have to worry about me. You know what I mean? Kind of like thing. So like I always kind of not included her. I always try to make my jobs like close enough that I can get to it and not to put more burden on her is really more my mindset. So I jumped around a lot of jobs and I didn't really care. I don't know. I thought, I thought that's what you did when you were a kid was jump around. But the lady in my house here, she had one job. She worked at Weiss Groceries. She was a checkouter.
I miss Weiss.
You miss Weiss?
If you live near Weiss, you need to get their store brand miniature peanut butter cups. They're the best thing.
Say it again.
They're the Weiss store brand miniature peanut butter cups. Unless they've changed the recipe, it's been a really long time since I lived near Weiss. But I was so addicted to those things. I worked at an insurance company that was walking distance to a Weiss, and so I would walk to get my lunch every day. And I always had a bag of those in my desk. That was like, it's been a hard day. My cold calling sucks because it always does. My appointment canceled on me. I'm gonna eat 5 of these right now.
You brought back bad memories too. I worked at a telemarketer for I swear it was probably an hour. I couldn't do it.
I did the telemarketer thing too, but I did it, and where I worked, again, this is a million years ago, everybody smoked. So you walked in and it was just a layer of smoke over everything, and I don't smoke. So I was like, oh.
Right.
Telemarketer is a shit job, and it's a lot of stress.
It is stressful.
They just recently changed the law where you had to be a certain number of feet from any public building if you wanted to have a cigarette. And being an insurance agent is an incredibly high stress job because the majority of your pay is commission, and most people you can't just be a better insurance agent. You have to have a better price, and it's out of your control, right? So I would always have to take my break and walk down the street away, find a secret hidden place, suck it down, and then hurry back. So my breaks were just rushing to a place where I could have a cigarette.
Wow.
And it didn't occur to me then that maybe I should stop smoking, of course.
You were way too young for that.
Oh yeah, I was really young. I was 22 or 23.
All right. You're way too young for those compromises with your health and stuff. Who gives a shit about that when you're 22, 23? You know what I mean? You don't even think about it.
For my peanut butter cups in 4-inch heels, which is probably part of what's wrong with my body now.
You're part of peanut butter.
Right. You'll find out in your late 40s about all that. So right, Doug? We already know. So Wendy's
here, my friend. So yeah.
That's so Wendy's and a lunch counter at a pharmacy called Spars next to the projects of Boston. Wow.
Oh, back when pharmacies still had lunch counters.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
There was cool.
a Rexall where I grew up that had a lunch counter and did they still did the handmade sodas.
Yeah.
It was my favorite thing. And then once that Rexall was gone, there was nowhere else in the world that still did that. It was hanging on for dear life.
Yep. And Jerry enjoyed work for Dallas Summer Musicals. How me get comfortable with asking people for money. Yeah. It was a phone sales gig. Yeah. Well, that's when people do they still have this anymore? Because that's when people answered the phone, and B, was that Renee? Was that before caller ID? Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Caller ID. So when caller ID changed the game, because then at that point it was no, motherfucker, I'm not answering this.
I think it was new. I think most people. Well, everybody still had a landline. And that landline had the ability to give you caller ID.
Yeah.
I think that during that period of time, I would intermittently just not have a cell phone and my life was not altered in any way.
Yeah.
So, this is a million years ago.
Yeah. That was beeper when people had beepers.
It was post beeper, but pre everyone has a cell phone.
Gotcha. So it was still kind of, I don't know how they do it now. And I wouldn't want to know. The whole thing was a mess to me. I just couldn't do it. I remember it was literally an hour. I didn't last that job a day.
I just felt twice because I didn't learn my lesson the first time. Insurance. Well, I was an insurance agent, and you have to go to school for that and stuff. You have to be certified and licensed and all kinds of crap. And then I did it for a wedding company where they were a directory, and my job was to call people who were already in the directory, because to be the directory that people go to, you have to have everybody.
Right.
You call people who are already in the directory and try to convince them to pay you money to like make their listing better or something. And they're like, but I'm already in the directory. And I'm like, you don't tell me. That's how I got your number.
You think I found you?
So we were talking about this before, and our conversation's come a little full circle. So did those experiences make you treat telemarketers better?
I mean, I have an answer for telemarketers now because I have caller ID on my cell phone. And now my phone has a feature where if your number isn't in my contact list, it doesn't even buzz when you call. It'll show up and it'll say, and like it'll show the number and it'll be like silenced call.
Oh.
And it'll just go to voicemail.
Wow. What phone do you have? I need to work.
I just have I have an old iPhone. Like I don't have a nice fancy one. It's got cracks all down the back, but it does it saves me from I went through and cleared out my voicemails yesterday and had like 5 people like blah 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 your auto warranty.
Auto warranty. Oh.
Right, or this is the IRS. You need to call us back. I'm like, the IRS don't call people.
Compromised.
Right, they send you certified letters, and then they send the police. So they don't call.
Exactly. The IRS is not screwing around with leaving you a voicemail, for goodness sake.
Right. They got points of action, and they will act.
Ask Wesley Snipes.
Right. So certified letter, police, court. That's where we're at with the IRS.
They'll take as long as they feel like getting you that stimulus check, but
they will. Right. Don't even. Right. You can wait for your money. We can't. Cheers to that. We have a sponsor. Oh, yes, iPhone. Greg, shut up, JHG.
Are you?
Yeah. JHG and I go through the iPhone, Android.
Here's the thing. I don't care what kind of phone anybody else uses.
Neither do
as long
I.
as you don't try to fuck with me because I have my first husband worked for Apple. So I got everything Apple at a huge discount. So I just had like even when I was broke, everything I had was Apple. So then when it came time to get a smartphone, smartphones were a thing, I'm going to get the one that links into all my stuff.
Right.
And then when I go to renew, one thing at a time, you can afford to renew Apple one thing at a time to keep your ecosystem going. I'm in the Apple ecosystem. There's nothing that can be done now.
Right. No, I agree. I broke myself out of the Apple ecosystem.
Right? You have to want to. That's the first
step.
No.
You have to, right. And it was because of iTunes, actually. This a while ago. I had a bunch, and then iTunes will not work on my shit. So then I just stopped, and then I don't know. For my lifestyle, it's a lot easier for me just to have an Android. But whatever. I don't know. JG likes to brag about his iPhones, and I like to remind him that he should brag because you pay more for that shit. So the shit should be good. Yeah. Okay, that's my whole thing. Right. This is my whole thing. He brags about the iPhone, and it's great, but it better be great because you pay more. That's it. It's not really a like or not like thing. It's just like great. Like, okay, so
my brother-in-law
to each his own. It's like real quick, Renee. It's like bragging that you have a Maserati. Well, great. You paid 3 times as much as I do to drive a car. So, right. You paid twice as much as me to drive that same car. So the car better be great. And I don't want to hear you bragging because I can just get the same thing and brag too. That's where I'm at. What are you going to say, Renee?
10 or so. Well, no, I was pregnant when this happened. So just over 11 years ago, my brother-in-law had a roommate who was, I think he was like a DJ, like a club DJ, not like a radio DJ. And so he went and he spent a boatload of money on Apple because at the time, that was what you did if you did anything professional with music, like, and didn't have access to the studio, right?
Yep.
And he said, and this is still true, although that is no longer true. He said, the thing about the Apple Store is you go in there and you spend more money than you've ever spent at once in your entire life, and you leave and you feel good about it. Like they convince you that you did the right thing,
Right.
And it's true. And
and good products too. Good products. No, I've never argued with him about the products ever, actually. Like, I don't. And one thing too is I don't really know about him anymore because I haven't had him for a while. So I'm not going to argue about something that I don't know about. But I will say again, what I do know is that it costs more than what I pay. Anyway, oh, now it's about bragging. Shut up, Dave.
It's always
Shut up, Dave. Wait. Do we have to show? Why don't we show his comments anymore? I don't even understand this.
Can I make one comment about the Apple?
Yeah, get in there. Yeah, let's hear it.
Before we go to our sponsor, because we do have to get to our sponsor that we've been teasing for the past.
Yeah, we have to get to our sponsor, so we at least gave her a little bit of a heads up. Thanks, Doug.
And pour another glass before they talk about their sponsor.
You have to let me talk before I drink this glass, though. Or I won't
So I work in IT, and I hate Apple stuff. And the reason I hate Apple stuff is because of working in IT. Because I used to work for a newspaper, and all the ads and all the graphics were always done on Macs because they were always considered superior for graphic design stuff. And back in the day, that was totally accurate. However, back then they didn't interface with anything for shit. So like all of our stuff was run off of Windows. So like the amount of goddamn backflips and gymnastics I had to do to make sure that stuff worked was terrible. Like
if you recall though, they used to not like Word on Apple was the most frustrating program that ever existed. They didn't cross-pollinate with Adobe at all that. Now I have all that crap on my Mac.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like and also like Greg said, even about the phones, if you get a Mac computer versus a like a regular Windows laptop, it's twice the price.
Yeah.
And maybe that's worth it to you. To me, I'm a cheapskate. That isn't going to
Can I
be
be real with you?
Right.
I would have
Right.
broken out of the Apple ecosystem the last time I needed to replace things, but my grandmother had just died and I had a lot of money. So I could go in and be like, all right, explain to me, the difference between this desktop and that desktop. Explain to me the difference between the little iPad and the big iPad and whatever, and walk out with all new kit without feeling like, we weren't going to eat or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. But like, I have such a sour taste in my mouth. And that was, let me think, that was 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a long time to hold a grudge, but.
This is the other thing, is because my ex worked for Apple. He would get every program that was released for Apple the day it was released. So I got to play with so much cool crap. But then now, like, I wouldn't buy a comic book maker for Mac because I'm not a comic book artist, So I got really like brainwashed in the cult because I got all of the perks. I got the love bomb.
Yeah.
And it is a cult. Thank you for using that word to cult. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know what I'm about. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. We'll use what works best for us. Sanctuary design isn't platform dependent anymore.
That's true.
True, but it was before though. It absolutely was. Especially Apple was known as like the more artistic one, where it catered to artists, whether it be musicians or graphic artists and like JHG, all that. So like music, audio. So yeah.
As a podcaster, back when GarageBand still did podcast editing, it was the easiest program to use. I would look at the other programs that everyone used and just be like, I'm not a sound engineer. I have no idea how to use this, but I can go in and produce an entire podcast on GarageBand.
Yeah, that's the thing. Apple is genius at UI, at user interface. That's something they're extraordinarily good at.
Well, and again, that's worth it. That's worth the price to the people who need that, and that's why Apple should get paid as much as they do. I've never said anything bad about that. They're worth they're worth all the money that they say they are, and because of again the products that they give, and people love them. It's a dope. I was listening to another podcast today. It's a dopamine thing. If things make you feel good, you're going to come back. And this podcast was specifically talking about con men and how con men use different tactics to make people produce dopamine in in their presence.
You will have
and,
to send me a link to that podcast, Greg, because I really want to listen to it.
Absolutely, I listened to it today. Yeah, I put it out on my Twitter. It's good. I'll get that to you afterwards. But yeah, that's one of the things that Common do is make you feel good in their presence.
Yeah.
And then they can slip all kinds of shit behind you. Or by you. Basically
this is
what
a
it said.
great segue for my sponsor thing, actually.
Sweet. Because again, that's the whole podcast is about human engineering and how I can just walk into a place and know that a guy's on vacation and get access to his whole office. And the guy talked about how he did it and all like that whole different thing. And that's like the new, human hacking is the new, social engineering where you can just, how it was a teenager and he took down Twitter because he called Twitter and he got access to all their shit. And then he just went in and stole Bitcoins and crazy. So now it's time for a sponsor.
For real.
So because I want to play off your segue, I'll talk about the Pink Floyd anthology coming through in waves, which was edited by the amazing T. Fox Dunham.
Yes.
I'll get to why it's a great segue in a second. It benefits a cancer society, which is really awesome. Fox himself has dealt with cancer and this particular type of cancer. So it's a thing close to his heart, and we all contributed amazing crime stories based on Pink Floyd songs. And I got the song Money. And the title of my story is Get Your Hands Off My Stack, which is a line from, or Keep Your Hands Off My Stack, which is a line from the song. And my story is about what we've been learning. There was the LA Times podcast series, which was turned into a TV series, Dirty John. We've been learning that this is actually a pretty common con where men enter a woman's life. They act like they're the best thing that ever happened to her. Somehow they always pay for everything, and they're a doctor or like they're a hedge fund manager or some like really prestigious job with a lot of money, and they get married.
Mr. Big. Sorry.
Yeah. But it turns out that they're none of those things. All the money he was spending on you was your money because he stole your identity or he did whatever. So my story is about a woman who has realized that this is happening to her and takes some drastic measures to end the situation.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the situation. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, it's a short story?
My stories are about women murdering men. Usually it's because of adultery, and in this case, it's because of money. But I think that there's still some surprises in the story for you as to like how she does it, why she does it, how she gets away with it, etc. So
it's a short story?
There's some really amazing stories in this anthology, and really great authors contributed, and its money goes to a great cause. So please check it out.
So it's a short story.
Yes. So it's a collection of, and I've forgotten how many, but it's a collection of several short stories from a lot of different crime authors based on songs by Pink Floyd.
Doug?
Yeah, I had forgotten about that you had talked about this, and when you said, "Oh yeah, I want to promote this," and I was like so happy that you reminded me. So I'm gonna have to go pick that one up. You also have another one that is older, but it was the one you did about it was like a pandemic lockdown, I think it was called.
I think I talked about the last time I was here, and the name of the anthology is Lockdown, and it benefits Bink, which is for independent bookstores, which have been struggling a lot during the pandemic, obviously. Independent bookstores rely on having readings, having community events to get people in the door. Mm-hmm. And if you can't have a bunch of people together, you can't get people in the door. So it's a really good cause as well. My story in that anthology is called Desert Shit. It's one of the only stories I've written that takes place here in Joshua Tree. And it's about some girls that realize that if you're already wearing a mask, what's to stop you from running a really awesome heist at the grocery store you work at? And the consequences of doing that in the universe of lockdown is a little bit different than our real lockdown. In their universe, it's a rapidly mutating virus that is more on par with something like the Stab than COVID. So it's a lot more dramatic than what would happen in current times. But it's a fun, queer love story with a heist. So, like, what's not to love?
I don't think you sent us that link, so you're gonna send it to me, and then I'm
I'll
gonna
send
post
it
it
to
on.
you. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to come back to that because like I said, I think
No
we talked
worries.
about it last time I was on.
No worries,
Sorry.
but you're gonna send it to me, and then I'll put it out. Doug and I will put it out on our media.
Sounds good.
Sweet.
And then the last thing is
Anything else you're working on? Yeah.
Yeah, the last thing is Cult of One Media, which you can find us at cultofonemedia.com. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus because we're working on some new projects that are going to be really great. We run a little shop of modern kitsch, and we run a web magazine, and you can find some of my archived true crime essays there, as well as some fun stuff like horoscopes and recipes. And we're going to be bringing some new stuff to the magazine portion, and we're also going to be debuting a curated line of vintage kitsch. So if you're really into like little like a cookie jar that looks like a chicken or whatever, or like a little tie tap that's a pinup girl and stuff like that, and so we're working on getting together our curated line, and we're working on bringing there's going to be a true crime podcast as well as a new approach to some of the content. We have our t-shirt shop. I'm wearing one of the t-shirts now. If you are familiar with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope mostly in film, but in some books, we have our Depressed Goblin Nightmare Woman shirt.
I love that shirt.
We have some other shirts too, and they're all as fun as that. And yeah, so there's lots of fun stuff going on. And if you follow our social media, you'll be the first to find out. And you'll also get to see, occasionally I will do live videos on Facebook where I interact with the social media followers about whatever's going on. We did one on Jason Collier, who's the sheriff who had like 7 fiancés and a wife. And that was really fun. We had a lot of good interaction from that. And, when we do mess around with true crime, we make sure that it's extremely well fact checked. At the time, there was people spreading rumors that this guy was involved in a missing persons case. He wasn't. There were women claiming to have been on the long list of women that he had conned. They weren't. And so we were like fact checking that as it was happening, and we were able to have a really cool show based on that. So there's just tons of fun stuff happening at Cult of One Media, and more stuff to come. Lots of fun stuff to come. Lots of cool stuff to buy, cool stuff to listen to. And eventually we're hoping to have like an inner circle group where you'll get discounts and insider information and stuff. But we want to focus on getting you the great content and the awesome stuff in the shop first. So if you follow our social media, you follow our website, you will be the first to find out about that.
Boom. Excellent. Doug, any follow-ups?
No, I just you should follow the Cult of One Media because I do, and just it's great content. It really is. I'm not saying that just because we're friends. I'm saying it because I actually enjoy that stuff. So.
And if you follow our social media, when we don't have anything to say ourselves, we find really awesome memes. So.
Well, we're going to wait a little bit for our videos because they're not nice. Anyway. And until then, I'm going to open up my third beer here, Doug.
Yeah, I have a third one as well.
I hope I made sense during that because I got through this bottle. It is as good as the guy at the bottle shop told me it was going to be.
All right. Excellent. Well, you made perfect sense to me. So
Great.
Right. I was actually going to tell you to slow down because I couldn't keep up with you as far as holding up the links to show what you were talking about. So yeah.
I got to tell you really fast because you're going to lose interest.
No, this is true though. We are Americans and we do have an attention span of 2 seconds. So, see, and I don't even know if that's even. I don't know. Has our attention spans gotten worse even during the pandemic?
Goldfish have a memory of 3 seconds, so I hope we're at least doing better than them. But I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah. So what you got?
I got a hazy State double dry hop IPA.
That from Collective Arts.
Yes, it is, sir.
I could tell by the can art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I got to show you that.
No,
I gotta let Doug see the can art.
Yeah, that's my
Me too.
And that can art, Collective Arts does some really nifty can art. And it's a woman-run brewery.
Awesome.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But if your name is Collective Arts, there is kind of a bar set there, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Right.
So how is it?
Man, so it says Amarillo, Citra, Mosaic, and Centennial. Unfiltered. Crisp. Not so juicy, Doug. Crisp. Crisp. Really, the thing that really got me the most is the Christmas. There's some citrus there. I like how it's like, I like the hazy look on it.
Yeah, that's a nice haze on there.
This is one that I could drink in probably 3 sips. If I
So
wanted to.
Just for the record, just so I know, is it crisp?
It's crisp.
Say it with a serious face. Crisp.
Yeah, I'm not really one for words today. How about that? I mean, I guess some, but
You get to be worrier on your first drink than your third or fourth, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, this is my
Yeah.
So one of the things, I'm going to set this video up by saying this. One of the unfortunate things about having a president asshole for 4 years is that it really emboldened a lot of people to do shit like I'm about to show you in this video. But also, in my opinion, it has emboldened people to push back. And I believe, actually, I feel, and maybe I'm seeing these videos now and I didn't see them before, but I feel people are more likely to push back on bullshit than they were before. But I also think people are more likely to say a whole bunch of bullshit. So, like, I almost feel that we are leveling up, if that makes any sense. Because there's just been so many times where you would just see people do on video heinous shit to other people, and all the other people doing is just recording. No one's saying anything. No one's like, look, so like a lot of these videos, like you see the asshole person and then you see the reaction. Like, to me, it's more important now the reaction of the people around the asshole person. Like, we know there's going to be asshole people. We know they're everywhere. But like, how do people respond to it? And like, we saw that guy at Walmart, he taped it. And then once the guy got close to him, he's like, dude, what's your problem? Like, why are you talking to anybody like that, let alone a man or woman? And then he's like, whatever. So like, I think that's more prevalent today. So this is what are we going to say, Renee?
Can I interject something really quick? So
absolutely.
We're doing full homeschool in COVID, where I have my own curriculum. We're not using the school. And one of the books that I'm using is this book is anti-racist. It's the kids version, not the adult version, because I have a kid. I'm not homeschooling college students. Anyway, they have a whole section on how to react when you see something that shouldn't be happening. And what your different risk levels are and how your station affects how much of a risk it is for you and all of that. And I actually asked the kids to like consider, are you the person who can say something? Or is the adult with you the person who can say something? Or is it safer to just record? Is it safer to just say, I'm watching, or whatever it may be? And I love that that's something that we have for kids now, because they'll grow, if kids are introduced to this when they're like 11, like my kid is, they'll grow up believing that it is their place to do something, and also having some education on what is safe to do. And what will it make it worse for the person you're concerned about? Will it put you at risk, etc.? I cannot recommend this book enough. I've been doing exercises with my kid, and it has been really eye-opening, because it's not just about racism as a concept or how it affects us in daily life. It's also about your own identity and the way that you experience these different intersectional things that have a really big impact on our lives. And so it sounds really crazy to be like, oh, this book for kids really, like, it's just blown my mind, but it really has. And I'm super glad my kid is being exposed to it. So I just want to make a shout out to that book, because it dealt with exactly what you're talking about, Greg.
What's the book again?
And when you see something that shouldn't be happening.
What's the book again, please?
This book is anti-racist.
This book is anti-racist. And I don't know, when you're talking, to me, it sounds like we need to hand these books out to adults too.
Yeah. Well, and so I just remember the author's name. It's Tiffany Jewell, and she's
Okay.
amazing. She's really great because she talks a lot about her own experience, but she also, like, as somebody who grew up in an area where the immigrants from my culture were kind of shit on. It also helped me kind of contextualize some of the shitty things people said about me and my culture, even though I'm a white lady. They talk about things like gender. They talk about things like LGBTQIA issues. So, like, she's like amazing. So it doesn't matter if you think that like your kid is like the whitest white kid who's never even going to see another black person, which I hope isn't true. But there's stuff in there that's going to help them think about their identity and the things that they see on TV and the things that they hear on the radio and the things that the radio, like anybody listens to the radio, whatever, I'm old. But like the things that are happening around you, it'll help you contextualize your own identity or your kid's own identity, and also gives you really like explicit things to think about and do in order to make that, like, to make a difference, and to make a difference in a way that is safe for you, because I think that's important. Like, you don't want to tell an 11-year-old to go and like wrestle a cop, but you might want to tell an 11-year-old, ask the adult that's with you to stop and take a video, or ask the adult that's with you to tell the police what is your badge number, things like that. Someone's asked me for a link to the book, and I'll send that to you, Greg. It is really good.
This is it, right?
That's it. Yeah. And I suggest getting the print version because we're doing it for school. I have the print version and the Kindle version. The Kindle version does not do justice to the amazing art that is in this book. So print version if you can.
Excellent. And thanks Alex for forcing me to look that up. And I will put it out. That's another thing I'll put out on my I'm starting to put the show notes for Doug, you just posted on my page. Sweet.
Sorry, but out there for everybody.
No. Yeah, we need to do that more. When I say we, I mean me. As far as putting out, when we talk about books, putting that out afterwards so people can explore them more. But yeah, this looks really, really good. Right up our alley.
Super great. I feel like as an adult, it is not talking down to me, and I appreciate that in a book that's aimed towards kids my kids' age. They're 11 years old. Like, they don't need a picture book.
But we all have to navigate these things because, again, we're out dealing with these people.
Yeah. And it does, like, I thought it was just really great to be like, where does your privilege stand versus what can you do? Because you wouldn't give the same advice to a black man witnessing police brutality that you would give to someone like me who might get to be a Karen about it without getting hurt or arrested. So it's a really great book. I cannot recommend it enough. And I would say if you're an adult, read it anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna be on my list. What also is on my list is to see what Doug has next.
What a segue.
I've learned something after 17,000 of these.
Well, I'm going to pull a beer, Greg, that you gave me.
Yeah.
From last year. Shit. Octopi S'more Stout, another dessert flavored beer.
Shit. A beer that I gave you, but I haven't had yet.
What?
It's still in the freezer. I haven't had it either.
All right. Well, I've cellared this for a year. Sideways.
Yeah, I need to bust mine out. But yeah, yeah. Depending on what you say, depends on how quickly I'll drink it.
Look at
okay, so we still,
that looks good.
Yes, it does.
Oh man, you get all that like toasty marshmallow notes right on the nose. Oh, that smells good. Okay. So this is really, Greg, I think you have to open yours. This is really excellent. The bourbon barrel flavoring is a nice note on it. It's not like a fucking bourbon barrel bomb like you get sometimes when they're barrel aged. All the got the graham cracker. I got the
Ooh.
marshmallow, a little bit of chocolate. Chocolate's a little bit less than the rest of the stuff, but that is excellent. I mean, that's been in my cellar for a year, and that is so because that was when you were here and you gave me that, and that was 12.7% when you gave it to me. So I'm curious how much
pre-COVID brew.
Can you guys help me? I have a really weirdly specific question, but I feel like the two of you might be the best people to answer. Do you know if Stone still does Woot Stout every year?
What's that?
Do you know if Stone Brewery still does Woot Stout every year?
Yeah.
Doug knows this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Will Wheaton is sober now.
Will Wheaton?
He's sober now, which I thought like, oh no, because I really love that pecan pie bourbon barrel stout.
Yeah. Yeah, their Woot Stout they still make. I know they still do it, and I didn't take note if it was like usually they would put his name as an association for the beer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they did that last year or not. I actually think I might have one of those in my cellar fridge.
I missed it last year, and then I saw something someone shared from Will Wheaton that talked about being sober, and I was like, oh no, that's my favorite beer. Like I wait, because it's really good. It's also really strong. So
that it is, and that is one of the ones that, like, when I talk about bourbon barrel bomb, that is one of those kind of beers. It's very, very sweet.
When you were saying that, I was thinking, oh, I like the bourbon barrel bombs though.
I like them too, but if you're gonna have like a s'more flavored stout, I don't think you want that super bourbon boozy.
Fair, yeah, because when you were describing when you're drinking, I was like, ooh. Maybe I can get out to the beer store before it closes.
Also, it is one of the cooler brewery names ever. It's Octopi Brewing.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's near Greg. So
that's just brewed in my house.
Look at my octopus tattoo. This is up my alley. I'm gonna have to find a bottle of that.
I think you're going to have to enlist Greg's help in that. I think he might be able to get some your way.
Oh.
What? Some of what? That?
Or Octopi.
Oh, yeah. I can get Octopi.
Store will order.
I can get Octopi. Absolutely.
So I'll see if they can order it first, and if not, then I might have to make.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Right.
Yeah, Greg and
I drank all my cellar Woot Stout. Most locals save it for verticals. I will call and ask if I hear anything. I will let the group know.
Yeah, Daniel's the freaking man for hookups for that stuff. So
nice.
Hookups
for the corner.
Right. And Dan, man, our boy Dan knows a lot. He taught me a lot about even tequila. Last week I had tequila. See now, Renee, I'm a tequila guy. I love fucking tequila.
I don't know if you remember, but the first time I was on, I invited you to come see me here in Joshua Tree. And then I just said that my husband makes wonderful margaritas. So keep that information what you will.
Oh, I'm going to.
Joshua Tree is a destination I definitely want to get to because I just love the way it just looks like. And of course, I only see it like Hollywood style. So
But it looks like that in real life, Doug. It's one of the few places that looks the way that it's presented on film. It is like being on Mars, but with really weird trees. And on my property, I have over 30. We lucked out. Like we live yeah. And we got in here before the prices started rising too. So we really lucked out.
Right. And you ain't going nowhere, right?
Oh, absolutely not. I am here with my 30 plus Joshua trees forever.
Right. Because #fuck moving.
Oh, yeah. Moving is the worst. I'm a writer, which means I'm a reader, which means I have a lot of books. When we move so if you move yourself in the military, you get paid back. So you have to weigh the moving truck.
You're a bookie?
2 tons of books.
Right. I was going to say, a bookie's probably one of the worst people to move.
Yeah. 2 tons of books moved into this house. That happened.
Because y'all bookies don't really even care about Kindle. So it's not like you can take your whole book collection. Y'all motherfuckers want the hard copies.
I have a confession to make, Greg. I read so much on Kindle, and the majority of my books now I do audiobook, and I still moved 2 tons of books into this house last year.
So you even like balance audio and the digital, and you're still
I do it all.
right.
I do it all. And but also I collect some rare books or first editions of certain authors and stuff like that. So it's a whole ordeal because those books can't just be moved. They have to be packaged and like wrapped in bubble wrap and in a airproof. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Doug, you were gonna say something.
So I'm going to ask a reader question.
Okay.
How many books do you estimate is in your TBR pile, your to be read pile?
So I stopped. I just stopped. You know why? Because here's the thing.
She's like, I just stopped.
Because I do ebook, audio, and physical book. I have no idea. Like, I don't have a stack next to the bed. And if I did have a stack next to the bed, it would be my night table because there's like, where else is it going to go? It's so much. So I have no idea, but I would say at least 50 or 60 books that I'm like, I am going to get to that. And then, it's funny. My hobby is like not a hobby. It's a subset of reading as a hobby. So I read a lot of articles, and I have like a million tabs saved of articles I mean to get to. And then like, it turns out the guy who wrote 7 articles on this particular topic also has a book. So then his book gets on there, but I have only read one of the 7 articles. Like it's
a whole thing. I mean, I'm probably in that same vein. I mean, I didn't move 2 tons of books, but like Jill's a reader too, and we must have 6 or 7 bookshelves of stuff that's filled. And honestly, I haven't read half of it. And
smart people get rid of some of their books before they move 2 tons of books. We're not.
There are some that I have in a box that I want to actually give to a retirement home near me because they're all books that it's like a lot of Clancy books that I was given.
Oh yeah, that's
I don't need to read more military stuff. It's
Are you sure?
my jam. Yeah, I am actually. I read enough of his stuff. And I have lots of that stuff. I have lots of Dean Koontz, but those are things that are easily digestible that I can give to people. That
I want to tell you something funny about what you just said though, because I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and my best collection of first editions and rare books is Stephen King. I have Japanese editions, Russian editions, Spanish editions, first editions, advanced reader copies, like you name it. I have 1 signed copy. Those are expensive.
Those are really hard.
Yeah, I don't have a copy of Carrie because I don't have $70,000 to drop on a book. But
No.
I have a really extensive collection of Stephen King. And then I did get to a point where I wasn't going to be able to go any further on completing the collection because it's just so expensive. And it fluctuates all the time, so I don't know what the values are now. But like at one point, there was an edition of Salem's Lot that was worth $70,000. I'm not buying that, But the problem is now he comes out with new books, and the completist in me says I should go out and buy the first edition of that book. But the reader in me says his last 3 books haven't been that great. And so that's the challenge for me as somebody who started a collection of a certain author and then was like, when you get to be Stephen King, your editor doesn't edit you and your publisher doesn't care.
Because your name.
You have good ideas poorly executed maybe more often than somebody who is getting a little bit more of a closer eye on what gets published and what doesn't.
I will say that I haven't read a lot of his newer stuff. I did read The Outsider, which I thought was really good.
I love The Outsider, but I'm going to make a controversial statement. TV show was better. The only thing I wish that they would have done closer to the book was the Holly character. I think she was better in the book, but the TV show was more cohesive than the book.
I didn't watch the show. I started the first episode, and I am terrible at watching TV shows. I can't watch more than like 2 episodes at a sitting.
You should watch it because it's great, and also Jason Bateman is great.
Jason Bateman's awesome, so yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, My friend, our friend Alex said he was just mentioning how he had the same pile of books since 19.
Yeah.
You're not the worst reader,
That's what
Alex. That
happens,
is
'cause new
totally,
books keep
totally
coming out.
normal.
Yeah.
Well, Renee, what'd you say?
That's what happens because new books keep coming out. I have this book, I read this thread on Twitter, and it was about the origins of the phrase Stockholm syndrome, and how it's really fucked up. And we could do like a whole podcast on why that's fucked up. But I was really impressed by the author's research, and I found out that she's an Australian author, and she was hand selling books. So she would sign a book and ship it to you. Shipping from Australia to California is kind of expensive, but I decided I really needed to have a signed copy of that book because what I read about her research on Stockholm syndrome just really impressed me, right? So I paid almost as much for the shipping as I paid for the book, and it got here, and I was so excited, and I opened it, and I was like, yes, this is the best. And it has been on the same little rolly library cart in my living room for probably a year. It was at the beginning of the pandemic, I think. And it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with the book. It's just that in that time, how many books came out that also caught my fancy, and whatever.
It's kind of like I don't know if it's more like for me reading I tend to read like 4 or 5 books at a time, like meaning like I'll start one and they're all different genres. So like just depends on what I'm in the mood for at the moment.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate this, Renee. A friend of mine, Aaron Softly, who's a dad blogger, friend of ours, Greg. He had never read the Dark Tower series.
Oh.
So I said, let's read it together. We talk about it and all this stuff. And what's pretty cool is there's a companion podcast called Kingslingers where they go through, here's 3 chapters, and they spend 2 hours combing through details of it. And they're the same kind of folks. Like the one guy's never read the Dark Tower and the other guy's read it multiple times. So it's almost like you're doing a parallel thing with this podcast. It's really, really excellent.
That sounds amazing. And I'm totally going to check that podcast out, because what I started doing is we started listening. So in the pandemic, it interrupted this because it fucked everything up. But we started listening to them on long car rides so I could share them with my husband and my kid, because I love them. And in many ways, that series did change my life, because I actually joined a community of people who were big fans and they're lifelong friends, and they encouraged me as a writer and blah, blah, blah. Like, it really changed my life. But it's such a good series of books. And if you're a massive Stephen King fan, then you get all the weird connections, right?
Oh, and everything's
and if
connected.
You've never read it before, you get all these weird things like the Lobstrosities, which is my husband's favorite thing. Like he'll dot a chook me all the time. Yeah.
Sorry, Greg. We're
No.
I'm stopping now because Doug and I could probably do this for another 2 hours, and we don't.
Which ironically I'd never read until I met my wife.
Well, it's like Lord of the Rings for horror fans, right? I feel like that's what it is.
And that was what he said. It was his Lord of the Rings. That's what I think. So what was interesting is, for me, I had read a series of books that were really instrumental for me at a certain point in my life. And it was the Necroscope series by Brian Lumley, which is very old school vampire horror. And she was a big fan of Dark Tower. So we decided, I said, you read the Necroscope series, I'll read the Dark Tower series. And we did that as a thing. So it was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's a sign of a great marriage. Try
we're pretty well matched.
Involved super specific fantasy series, and I will try your highly involved super specific fantasy series. That's an amazing marriage you have, Doug.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I know this. I'm well aware of that, actually. That's the thing that actually makes, I think part of what makes us go is the idea that, like, Greg's been around us. He sees us. We're just completely love-struck dorks that...
I mean, I'm a big fan, and I don't even know her.
Yeah.
So.
You see those two together, it's like, oh, my God.
I love it, though.
Yeah. And we'll be married 10 years. We'll be married 10 years this year, and we're still looking that bad. So.
Yes. Yeah, it's good to see people who have chemistry, Renee, and not forced chemistry. You know what forced chemistry is? When you want it to be, and it's just not. where
what
Doug
I
and Jill
learned?
are just.
Here's a random fun fact for your listeners, Greg. Romantic comedies, and this might. Sorry, I have my phone is giving me a notification about someone trying to call me for spam. I don't know if you're a romantic comedy fan at all. I know a lot of men aren't. I used to not be until I did a podcast about romantic comedies. I found out there's actually a lot of good ones. But what they do between the two leads is they do a chemistry test to see how they read. And they might be married to other people. They might not have any interest in each other as romantic options in real life. But they just want to see how they play off each other to make it believable.
Yes.
Which, sometimes you watch romantic comedy and you're like, I don't know if they did that. But I thought it was really interesting because it feeds into this idea that people can just have really great chemistry because of who they are.
Yes.
And not necessarily because they're going to get married and have kids or whatever.
Right.
But it's extremely special when they do get married and build a life together, right? When you see that in real life and you're like, oh, love is real. I feel like I have that with my husband. So that's why I say it's special.
I feel like I have that with Doug.
Yeah.
But we're never going to get married or whatever, but my point is that there's levels to this. How about that?
Soulmates are a thing.
Well, and there's levels to this too. And I think this is where our society, this is where we need to grow up as a society.
Yeah.
Okay. Because men, again, the other person that's been on the show more than you, Jeffrey Bernstein, me and this guy have chemistry all day long. From the second we met. But it doesn't mean we're ever going to get married or sleep together or anything. But the chemistry that we have brings us together, and it's fun. Doug and I knew that we had chemistry the second we met each other.
And that's why we do
it's like one of those love at first sight things. So that's why Doug was immediately in my head when I realized I wanted to do a stream like this. Literally the first person that jumped in my head was this motherfucker. So and that's because I remembered the chemistry that we had in the 2 seconds that we met each other and the 5 minutes that we spent after each other, and then we've split. I didn't see him the rest of the weekend, mostly. We saw each other, but we didn't hang out. I don't remember getting dinner or doing any of that shit with you. Now, last tattoo was different because we were partners then by that point. But but before that, we weren't partners. We weren't friends. And it's just that people, this is where we need to grow up. And Renee, also where we need to grow up, and I'll let you have it after that, is that there is chemistry between a man and a woman that does not ever have to be romantic, but it could be chemistry, and they can work together. The one that jumps off my head is Ariana Bradford, Doug. Yeah. We all have chemistry. She's fantastic, but we're not getting married. She's happily married with kids. Renee, you're happily married with kids. You have a great rapport with both of us, in my opinion. I don't know if it's full chemistry or not, but we got chemistry, and it doesn't have to be any romantic. Right? It doesn't have to be romantic.
5 different words for love. Mm-hmm. 5. And some of them intersect. Sometimes you have more than one with one person. Sometimes you only have one. Here's what I want to say, and this is where it comes into me being your resident feminist guest, is women are told that we get to have a best friend or 10 best friends, and it's fine. And I do. I have female friends that we started chit-chatting or whatever, and we were like,
BFFs.
That's me for life, bitch. Men don't get to have that. And when they do, it's incredibly rare. And you'll explain it the way you just did, which is not because you're wrong, but it's because how the world is oriented towards men having super best friends, or men being like, that's it, I'm working with you. You're the only person I want to do it with. Women get to do this over and over and over and over again with other women, with men. As long as you don't have a jealous partner, you get to have best friends with men. And we keep telling men that the only chemistry that they should ever have is with their female partner. The only emotional support they should need is from their female partner. And you know what? It kills both genders. And it definitely kills
relationships.
Because where the fuck do they fall into this crazy binary split? But the point being is you should have people that you love romantically. You should have people that you love platonically. You should have that person that you can tell all your deepest secrets to, and you know they're never going to tell another soul, and they're never going to judge you, and they're just going to be like, I got you. And women get to have all of those things. Women get to be like, all my friends are guys, even though that's its own form of internalized misogyny. Women get to say, this is my best friend, and if we were like 2% more gay, we'd be married, and that's fine. When men do that, society goes, what's going on? And that's bullshit, because we have all these studies and all these articles and all these essays that show us that literally kills men.
Right.
So I love that you're willing to be like, yeah, me and Doug have chemistry. Like it was always going to be this way, because that's awesome, and it means that both of you are healthy, emotionally healthy, mentally healthy. I love it.
So you're trying to say that we don't have chemistry, Greg? Alex, I told you years ago when I first met you online that I thought I had chemistry with you. So get out of here, bitch.
There's do a podcast together chemistry, and there's just friend chemistry. Come on, man. There's different kinds.
Right. What's up, Doug?
There's what's great about how Greg and I interact is the idea that like he and I will be like, when we sign off and we'll do an after show after this, and we'll talk and we'll bullshit, and then at the end it's like, hey man, love you, and it's genuine. Like, it's not something where it's just like, hey man, you rock, or like you got to do that sort of like hyper masculine dude bro nonsense that I hate.
No homo.
Yeah, no homo, all that stupid shit.
I'm glad that kind of went quick to no homo.
Yeah,
and then it was done. Like, it was bad. I've said it.
What's crazy is it's such a foreign concept to me as a woman. Because even though I've had a lot of male-dominated hobbies and interests and jobs, like I was a Marine, there's not a lot of women in the Marines. When I have a friend that I genuinely feel love for and who genuinely feels love for me, we can just say, love you, and nobody cares. Nobody's like, oh, are you going to leave your husband about it? Nobody's like, oh, are you okay? Like, it's just how women get to interact. We get to see each other after not seeing each other for a while and be like, ah, and then hug each other. And nobody cares, right? But men,
pre-COVID,
for the most part, don't get to do that. So I love that not only do you guys do that, but you're willing to say it publicly, because men need to see that, because it is literally killing men. Like, you can Google this. It's killing men. And as hardcore as a feminist as I am, I'm not a misandrist. I don't want men to die. I want all of my male friends and my husband and everybody to just like be able to be their whole self and be their true self. And also, not for nothing, but when men don't get to feel like they express platonic love, when they don't have friends that they can come to with their problems, you know who they rely on? They rely on the women in their lives, because they were told that women are the ones with the emotional intelligence, and women are the ones that can pretend to be their therapist without getting paid. And women are the ones that can listen to them when they're sad and never have an outlet of their own. It hurts everybody that men don't just get to be like, I love you and you're awesome and we have chemistry. Let's do a podcast together.
Yeah. It is so one of the other things is like the idea of one of the things that I really wish we adopted here in America more is the idea of, you'll see, I'm going to take the example of soccer. All right, so you'll see soccer matches, and in Europe it's friggin' enormous, and the guys at the end will give you a hug, they'll kiss each other in the cheek, and it's a measure of respect even in that context. You try to do that here in America, the guy would sock you in the mouth.
Yeah, because
he'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's the thing, is like, I'm by nature a hugger and all that, but I there's times where it's like I just wish I could say, hey, you know, I think you're pretty awesome, and I love who you are. And you can't say that to a vast majority of men in this country as a guy.
You have to know them really well to be able to do the math on it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
which is funny because I'm not a hugger at all, except for with very specific people. And society would tell us that I'm the hugger and you're not.
Yeah, I mean, there's even like, I'll give you an example. So I love my dad, and my dad he's my stepdad, but he's the dad that raised me since I was 4. So he's my dad, period.
Yeah, I get it. I have a stepdad like that too.
But he I'll tell him, "Hey, I love you," and I love you too, just kind of begrudgingly. But he's, in his 70s. That's a really uncomfortable thing for him, and just because that's what you were talking about, Renee. Is like that kind of stuff is like you have to be stoic and non-emotional, and
and look what it's done though.
Yeah,
We
I
hear
hope
so many men talk about never hearing their fathers say "I love you." We read article after article after article about men who don't have real friends. Their friend, there was an article a while back, and I don't remember who published it, so excuse me, but about how men are suffering particularly hard during the pandemic because they can't go to a sports bar and watch a game because they don't know how to get on Facebook Messenger or text or on the phone and just be like, "Hey, what's up?" Because society tells them that they're not supposed to do it. And of course you're supposed to do it because you know what? Your wife is tired of fucking hearing about it. If you're one of those people, please listen, your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, your mother, they don't want to be your therapist. They're not qualified to be your therapist. Even if they're qualified to be your therapist, they can't be your therapist because they're emotionally involved with you. We don't want to do it. We need to have some friends.
Or if you no, you do want to do it, but there's a limit there. Like there's only so much your partner should take in this area, and you should offset some of this for sure with friends, family, and all that. And when you do that, you put a lot more stress on the relationship.
Men, and this is obviously not all men, but in a macro view, women are told have several close girlfriends that you can tell anything to. You can talk about sex, you can talk about relationship problems, you can talk about your mental health issues, you can talk about work, you can talk about fucking whatever. You can talk about that thing that crossed your mind for a split second and it's like the squirrel in your thought process.
Right.
Men are told, talk to your partner. Well, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. So women end up having these larger social support networks. And men end up having their female partners, or and it is not it's not corralled to heterosexual men either, because gay men might have their female best friend because their husband or partner has also been socialized as a male, and people just don't think about what that means. Being socialized as a man versus being socialized as a woman. And it even affects non-binary people because at some point before you come out as non-binary, you got socialized a certain way. And it's just so important to think like you need people you can love, and you need like romantically love, and you need people you can platonically love, and you need people that you can be like,
it takes a village.
Girl, I heard the craziest shit on Cosmo Sex Advice. Do you think this is real? Like, you need those people. You really do. You need at least one friend that you can talk about the weird shit you read on Cosmo. At least one. Maybe only one, but at least one.
So let me jump through some of these comments quick because they're coming in. At home, guys have amazing chemistry with each other. We find that out. What you gonna say, Doug?
That's a truism from what I've seen.
Yes, and we find this out at Home.con. And hopefully Home.con could go down this year in October. We'll see. Leaving it open. Alex, I love both you guys. I don't think I've ever met Doug in real life, though. I don't think you have either, but I wouldn't know.
I'd like
Renee,
to.
You seem
Alex,
cool as fuck. Manny, Alex, I never met you, but I'd stalk you.
Look,
and he kids or does he kid?
Yeah. Anyway, Manny is our resident cereal nut. Like he does, like he just has all these different cereal things. He does videos with his kids with it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, we're gonna find out about Manny here. When is it? Let me look at the date here.
Yeah, he was gonna be on.
Manny is May 28th. So yeah, Manny was supposed to come. But Doug had his Fauci ouchie, so it was last week or something. So right. So then we had to reschedule Manny. But making friends with gay men taught me a lot about being a good friend.
No, and Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. Why would you be sorry about that?
Yeah, don't be sorry, first of all, Alex.
Right.
But also, there's this weird intersection in gay culture where gay men are both kind of outside the expectations of cisgender heterosexual men, but also sometimes have some of that misogyny too. But definitely,
Oh yeah.
I mean, we can't ignore it, right? Everything is intersectional, and a man is a man, and a woman is, whatever. A woman is a woman. Non-binary people are non-binary, so we all get different messages. But I love my gay male friends. Also taught me a lot about men, because there's less of an expectation on gay men to keep it all bottled up.
And you're taking out the.
I love you, Renee.
The other thing
Renee brings a perspective here that, like, I'm like, damn, I'm like, what she just said, I might have to think about for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, like, because it's a gay man, there's no like idea of like sexual chemistry happening there. If you understand, like, there's always the expectation, like, at least from when I was young, was like, if you're interested in a girl, then you clearly want to have sex with her. There wasn't room for what we talk about, having platonic affection for a woman. It wasn't what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is now, and I wouldn't want to quote it for fear of being completely wrong. But when I was in the Marine Corps, 2% of the Marine Corps were women. It was very likely, if you were a woman, you could go through your entire Marine Corps career and never meet another woman Marine.
Wow.
That's not what happened to me, thank God. But that's true. That's a fact, right? You graduate boot camp and maybe you never see another woman again. And you start to see that. You start to see how, like, I worked with a guy. We were in the field. Neither one of us wanted to be there. If you've ever been in the military, you know, being in the field is like the worst thing ever. There's not real bathrooms. There's not real showers. The work is hard. The days are long. Like, nothing about it is cool. Nobody wants to be there. But our job was basically outside of what we had to deliver. We were in a truck 16 hours a day, together against our will. And he told me flat out, when my girlfriend calls, you cannot talk. Because if she knows that there is a girl with me, she is going to lose her shit. And it's like, are you kidding me, man? You were the last person that I want to spend time with away from work. We've been in a truck, trapped together in the cab of this freaking truck for 16 hours a day. All I want to do at the end of the day is get the fuck away from you. I don't want to have sex with you. I don't want to bond with you.
I just want a hot shower. A little whiskey, right?
But that is the way that people think. Is like, if we could get along in a truck for 16 hours a day, then surely we want to have sex. Well, no, I did not want to have sex with that guy at all. I had a new boyfriend at the time. He was awesome. He had abs for days.
All right.
Look, I drink the entire bottle of wine, right?
So clarifying here, Alex said sorry, not sorry was his opposition to the no homo. So he was saying,
right.
I love both you guys. I love both you guys, and I never met Doug in real life. You know what I mean? And he doesn't care. And sorry, not sorry is because he's not sorry that he loves two men
right?
that he doesn't. Right. He's not sorry that he loves two men that he doesn't want to have sex with. Right.
Imagine you can love people you don't want to bone.
Exactly. The whole being cool with
want to bone people you don't love, just for the record.
Right. Like, and I don't know. I guess I've become more conscious of this as I got older. But like, I don't know. Renee, we met over this. But Doug knows my personality when I meet someone in person. And I can be overbearing. And what I didn't understand until later in my life is that how people perceive me.
Really?
And well, yeah, I'm just trying to be nice. But other people, especially sometimes women, I could see how they saw that I was trying to be maybe aggressive or hitting or flirting on them. I was really trying to make a connection because I'm a black guy.
How tall are you?
I'm almost 6'1".
So you're 6'1", and you have a proportional body to your height. And I think that makes a difference. And then I'm not going to edit it for the podcast like you're a black man. So then that has another.
Right. That's
so
the part I didn't.
And because
that's
I'm
the part.
loud.
Right.
Makes people intimidated by me, even though I'm little.
Oh.
Like, how can I hurt you?
No one likes angry black man.
Yeah.
No one likes black man who raises his voice either.
Yeah.
Or women who raise their voice. That's also a problem.
That's something we have in common, but I feel like it's different. Like Greg is
different for sure.
Because he's a big black man who raises his voice.
Right.
And I'm an asshole because I'm a little white woman who raises her voice, and it's different.
Right. And it took me to really closer to where I'm at in life as opposed to further away to understand how I look to a female that I'm talking to, or how I look to a male that I'm talking to. And I never really understood. I'm just trying to be nice here. I'm just trying to I'm just trying not to be this big angry black dude. And I'm just trying to go back and forth and be cordial. Where some people saw that as me hitting on them or being even aggressive. Wow. Now I've never had any, problems at all with any of that. But my point is that I've never really had a perspective on it until recent. And I don't know, I've been in the same relationship for 1,000 years. So I haven't been out there, trying to do anything. I'm just trying to connect with people. So it's just really, really interesting how, I don't know, how I see myself now that I even saw myself 5 years ago, actually.
But I feel like I get that because the flip side of that is, as a small woman, if I'm friendly and I smile and I'm nice, I probably want to fuck you. And it's like, well, no.
Right.
I've had situations where I'm meeting somebody for the first time.
Right.
They wanted to be on my podcast.
Right.
And they feel like all of a sudden they want to hit on me. I'm like, no, I'm being nice because we're in a professional situation. And if I'm a dick to you, then that ruins our professional relationship. So there's a lot of weird stuff at play that comes down to how people perceive you based on what they see versus who you are and what the situation is. And it's really difficult to navigate because you are always you and I am always me, but I meet somebody new or you meet somebody new and they have all these preconceived notions and you're like, oh, I got to deal with all of that.
Right. So anyway, I was setting up the videos that I was going to show, and then you guys shit all over it. So, no, that's not how it happened. But anyway, preach, Renee. So, had to get that in there. So, again, I think that leading up to what I'm going to put in here, I think that we are pushing back as much as we are getting pushed on. I hope that's the feeling, but let's view this clip. This clip went viral, so most of you have seen this, I believe. But I think it's important to accent a couple things that happen in it.
Can't wear a mask, sir.
She said she got medical problem. You don't have to serve her if you don't want to.
You can't even see how I'm looking at you, sir. I have sunglasses on. You can't even see how I'm looking at you. I have sunglasses on.
Yeah, did I guess?
You just said, don't look at you like that. How do you see how I'm looking at you?
Excuse me, can you just serve her? If you don't want to serve her, let you go. If you want to serve her, serve her. If not, let you go.
Take her out.
Ma'am, hello, ma'am. He's not going to serve her, so please leave.
Why? Because he's a bitch ass nigger?
No, excuse me.
Oh, that's what he is.
Hello, now you need to go.
That's what he is.
Excuse me,
bitch
ma'am.
Ass,
Hello, ma'am, you need to go.
You heard it.
Let me call the cop because this lady been very disruptive now.
It doesn't affect me that you're not going to serve me because you're a bitch.
Are you just calling him a nigger? That's what you just said?
I can call him whatever I want.
Okay, so there's well, Renee left full out her back, but you saw all this, right, Doug?
I intentionally didn't watch that video because
Okay.
I didn't want to be furious in the middle of my workday when I saw that it was floating around Twitter.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Right. You know what I'm talking
We've
about.
all seen videos like this before, and then the lady proclaimed that she had mixed race kids, and that gave her the excuse to say that. And I was like, no, that doesn't. Sorry.
Wait, that lady?
Yeah, that lady proclaimed.
I'm pretty sure this is the same one.
Right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Coronavirus.
What coronavirus?
You don't think?
How many people died of the flu?
You don't think coronavirus is real?
How many people died of the flu?
How many people died from coronavirus? What?
Are you Antifa?
Am I Antifa?
You're Antifa?
What does Antifa mean?
Are you not MAGA?
What does Antifa
It's
mean?
the opposite of MAGA. Do you know what that means?
I'm not MAGA.
No, you
no.
don't? You're not MAGA? How many black guys have you fucked?
What?
How many black guys have you fucked? She doesn't fuck black guys because she's smart.
That doesn't have to do with anything that I said, honey.
Because if you're into Black Lives Matter, why don't you fuck black guys?
That doesn't have to.
Why don't you have some black babies and have them get taken by ACS? Why? Because I get my black kids taken away from me just like black women do. Do you know what equality is with that? Or are you too busy dressing up like idiots?
Wait. That lady?
No, the other one that was in the thing.
I thought my research says they're the same person.
They might be. I don't know.
She's done multiple videos. This one. This one has multiple videos out there on Reddit. It's
a provocateur then. So.
Right. And again, I'm not sure. I haven't verified it. Reddit said that this one is the same one.
Yeah, what's wrong?
So I'm not here to. I'm not here to fact check.
Be the same person. I don't know.
Right. So Renee, did you see the first video before? Because I know you didn't see the second one. Did you see the first one?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I had to run out for.
No worries. And the reason I asked those because the video went viral and a lot of people saw it. And Doug said that
I eventually didn't watch it because of what the content was.
And then Alex said he avoided the video too. But let's go back. Let's show Renee. She's trying to get a bagel, I believe, in New York.
Oh God, I'm already.
She said she got medical problems. You don't have to serve her if you don't want to.
You can't even see how I'm looking at you, sir. I have sunglasses on. You can't even see how I'm looking at you. I have sunglasses on.
Yeah, did I guess?
You just said I don't look at you like
How can you see me if I have sunglasses on?
that. How do you see how I'm looking at you?
Wow. How can you?
Renee, they're objecting and they don't want to serve her because she doesn't have a mask on.
Can you just serve her? If you don't want to serve her, let you
So
go.
here's the thing that's
If
crazy
you want
to
to
me.
serve her,
Okay?
serve her.
Hold on, Renee. Hold on.
Take her out.
Okay, ma'am, hello, ma'am. He's not going to serve you, so please leave.
Why? Because he's a bitch ass nigger?
No,
Is that-
excuse
my
me.
God.
Hello,
That's what he is.
hello. Now you need to go.
That's what he is.
Excuse me,
Bitch
ma'am.
ass,
Hello,
N-word.
ma'am, you
I
need
just
to
said
go.
it. You heard it.
Let me call the cop because this lady been very disruptive now.
It doesn't affect
No, you-
me that you're not going to serve me because you're a bitch.
Are you just calling him a nigger? That's what you just said?
Call him a bitch. I can call him whatever I want.
Okay.
So, Alex, before we get to your comment, Alex, I ain't got no time for this bitch.
For real though. Okay, listen to me. I live in a town. We just had a population boom. We have 9,000 people in this town. Okay, that's where I'm at. So a lot of our local businesses are just not equipped to deal with pandemic life. We just rely on people to not be assholes. Like wear a mask, use hand sanitizer, get in, get out. Or like in the case of the place that we love to get takeout from, you go in, you make your order, and then you wait outside because otherwise it's a tiny little place. It's not equipped for a city that has 1 million people or whatever. So that stuff just like blows my mind. It blows my mind. It makes me so mad. It's like I've seen people go into stores like this and they get served. Right? Just if you forgot your mask at home, just like don't be a dick. It's that easy. Don't be a dick.
What's interesting is the idea of like before I leave the house to go anywhere. I don't know if you guys do this. It's like wallet, keys. I don't wear my glasses except to read. Glasses and phone and a mask.
Yeah.
I almost always have a mask in my car, but I have to do that as a pre-inventory before I leave.
Clean ones go by the front door, and there's extras in the center console of the car. And then like I carry a purse, so there's 1 or 2 in the purse. Like it's just not that hard. It's been a year, you guys, a whole year.
We should be an old hat at this, right? At this point, you should like you run down that thing.
Like
So
I have so many adorable masks. Because everybody and their sister started making cool masks. Like my first mask was from one of my I have 5 day jobs aside from just being a writer and a person who comes on this show. And one of my first masks was from a client. Like she decided to start making them. It was super cute. She made me 2 or 3. And then I like, oh, this little local shop is selling them. Oh, there's an Etsy shop selling them. Oh, like I'm in the checkout of the grocery line and there's freaking masks for sale. Like it's just not hard. It's not hard. Anti-maskers annoy me more than anybody else because it's like the shopping cart people. Have you heard the shopping cart theory? Right? Like if you are the person who refuses to take your cart to the shopping cart corral, even though it takes you like 30 seconds, you're probably a selfish ass. It's that, but in a way that could kill you.
Right. So Doug said that this lady, following up, because I got another clip I want you to say. So Doug said following that clip, she came out and said, what, Doug?
Again, I'm getting this from Twitter, so take that as a for what
it's fine. Hey, I'm getting my shit from Reddit, so we're all shaking
so
tears
we're all
here.
kind of flying in the
Right.
wind here.
Go on, though. She put
So
herself out there.
apparently-
Let's see what's going on. Right.
She proclaimed that because her kids are mixed race, she can say that.
Wait. So, whoa, really? This one? This one.
Coronavirus.
Not her. Well, apparently, they're the same person. JHG did say that that's the same person.
No,
so that
they are the same person.
Yep. So
Right.
apparently, that's the same
Wait,
person.
I have a question for Greg. I don't know anything about your family or anything about your background. Do you have mixed race people in your family?
Yes, I have 2 mixed race sons.
There you go. So I have multiple mixed race friends, and I have a friend who's a white mother to several black children who they adopted, right? Why do white women think they can be racist because they have mixed race kids? Because those kids have so much trauma.
But hold on. So wait. This woman has mixed race kids? Hold on. This woman has mixed race kids.
Double mask on your face, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Coronavirus.
What coronavirus?
You don't think
how many people died of the flu?
you don't think coronavirus is real?
How many people died of the flu?
How many people died from coronavirus? What?
Are you Antifa?
Renee, you didn't hear shit yet.
Are you aware who Miley Yiannopoulos is?
Hold on, Renee. You didn't hear shit yet. Just hold on. I see you reacting, and you haven't even heard the worst yet. Hold on.
The worst yet.
This woman has mixed race kids. I'm trying to wrap myself around that as you watch the next part. Watch.
You're Antifa?
What does Antifa mean?
Are you not MAGA?
What does Antifa mean?
It's the opposite of MAGA. Do you know what that means?
I'm not MAGA.
No, you
no.
don't? You're not MAGA? How many black guys have you fucked?
What?
How many black guys have you fucked? She doesn't fuck black guys because she's smart.
That doesn't have to do with anything that I said, honey.
Because if you're into Black Lives Matter, why don't you fuck black guys?
That doesn't have to.
Why don't you have some black babies and have them get taken by ACS?
What's that got to do with actual fuck?
Why? Because I get my black kids taken away from me just like black women do. Do you know what equality is with that? Or are you too busy dressing up like idiots?
Everybody's not getting their kids taken away, regardless of what color they are. Because that's not a stance I would take. So, Greg and Doug, do you know who Miley Yiannopoulos is?
Yes.
Do you know that his husband is a black man?
What's that?
His husband is a black man.
Yeah, who he is divorcing. But yes.
He's a roommate now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that because his latest.
He was gay because it was cool or something.
Yeah,
his
now
latest
he's
twist is that
he had
prayed to get away or whatever.
Yeah.
But his is now a roommate. He like phrased it really fucking weird. Like, so we're supposed to forget he was married. But this is the thing that really trips me out about these people is like at some point there was something that led them to be in a relationship with somebody of another race, even though they're fucking racist. And then there was something that happened when their partner realized that they were fucking racist that kept them there. And that boggles my mind. That boggles my mind. Like, I couldn't be married to somebody who's a misogynist because I'm a woman. And I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And it breaks my heart for those children, because if you're racist against your partner, you're racist against your kids.
How many black guys have you fucked?
How many black guys have you fucked, dog? Doug, how many black guys have you fucked, dog? Jesus Christ.
0, because I'm not gay or bi, so
Doug,
that's not my thing.
Doug, if you fucked a black guy for me, it wouldn't. I don't even know if we could go forward.
Oh my God.
Apparently not. Apparently that makes
I don't even care. Actually, I will cancel this stream in a second. God damn it! If I find that shit out, no, I don't even like. I listen. Do
you know,
Renee? Like you're not like Renee. You're not shocked about like when there's a new story about like Marines and misogyny and sexism. You're not shocked about that at all, because you've been through this ringer. Right. You know the story. We could sit here all day talking these stories. But like, and I'm not shocked by racist people. I'm just really not. And people, you know, when I put these up here and then people like text me on the side and DM me, like, how, like, don't you get sick of this? And I'm like, I do, but I'm not, it doesn't really, I'm not surprised by it. But this woman really surprised me though.
Something that is just like, if you're a goldfish, it's the water that you live in. Right?
Right.
To me, that's misogyny. To you, that's racism.
Right. So she didn't surprise me until the part about fucking the black guys. And then I'm like, wow, like she even took it to another level. Like I always thought that I like had, you know, heard everything. You know what I mean, Renee? And there's always this one person that always pushes it and says, oh no, motherfucker, you haven't heard everything. Here's
the thing though.
Right. Here is everything.
Sad is when she said that, it didn't shock me. When she admitted to having black children, that's what shocked me. Because I feel like there's this thing where racists want to get you. They want to prove to you as a liberal or a leftist that you're actually racist and you haven't admitted it yet.
Right. We're the racists.
Whatever,
I forgot.
Right? Like, oh,
right.
Guys, if you fuck, like, and then, like, if that person responded 0, she'd be like, exactly. But then she says, well, I have black kids. And that's where it blows my fucking mind, because I can't imagine being in a relationship with somebody I don't respect. And I can't imagine being in a relationship with somebody who doesn't respect me. Right. So I don't understand either side of that relationship. I just don't get it. Like, if I came home as a white woman and my spouse had a Make America Great Again hat on, I'd be like, oh, fuck. Like, it would change my whole life.
Or did you see the new Make America Great ones? Ann Coulter tweeted this out. You see this, Doug?
No, I have not. I'm not sure I want to, but please show it.
No, I'm not even going to show it. It just says Make America Florida. That's what it says.
No.
What?
The opposite of that.
Make America Florida. That's Ann Coulter's new thing.
Florida, because that's what I want. Make America
Right. Make America Alaska, or I don't even know. Make America she's like, this is a great new hat. Make America Florida, because she loves Ron DeSantis and she loves how he runs around and gives vaccines to his donors, and how he how he denies the COVID and he lets the spring breakers go and all that shit. It's cool.
I hate her so much.
Let the spring breakers go, but then let the police crack down on all the minorities down there. Yeah, that's the Ron DeSantis way of doing things, and that's why Ann Coulter's down with it.
It's still a thing, because she's been such a horrible person for so long.
Yeah,
she was one of the people who was super popular, and everyone was like, "Oh, she's a lady who's a Republican. I love her vagina," and then people would be like, "Yeah, buy her book," and it's like, "Don't fucking buy her book, because she's going to be a pedophile. It's got nothing to do with anything." I don't get how she's still around. I don't get how Milo is still around. I don't get, like, there's people who, if you paid attention to the other side, you were like, screw this person. And then people who didn't pay attention to the other side was like, just ignore that person. And now all those people have a platform and they have, like, influence over things. And it's really hard to be one of the people who have always been saying it, like, this person's a problem. And, like, why am I still hearing her name? Why?
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's some quote unquote liberals who have kept her afloat, and one of them is Bill Maher.
Right. Well, right.
Bill fucking Maher is a goddamn closet Republican at this point. I used to really like him. I used to really like him. And then he just went into the Adam Carolla fucking straight weird right wing. Oh my god! Like what the fuck happened? I didn't old and white. Which you don't. Adam Carolla is a guy I used to like too, and now
But Dr. Drew did it too. He works for HLS.
Yes.
It's one of the worst.
We got it.
Dr. Drew, Dr. Oz. Fuck all these motherfuckers.
This is what I said. I used to think. I can't remember my exact wording, but it's like I used to think that it was specific rich white men. And then Dr. Drew turned, and I was like, "Oh no, it's all of the rich white men. It's all of them." Because like he used to be the guy. He was the only guy who'd tell the truth about sexual health to teenagers, and now he's a COVID conspiracy theorist. He's talking like he's saying things that don't make any fucking sense. It's like I loved you, Drew, because you were the guy who talked to me about sex when I was 13.
Yes, he
I
did.
loved you, Drew, because you were the one who wanted to talk about how drug
we all grew up on that shit.
Needed help.
Yep. We all grew up on that shit. We all grew up on that shit, Renee.
Yeah.
We did. And that was, I mean, Love Line, that was a shit for a while. And like, it really did help a lot of people.
The MTV show was different. The radio was something else. It would blow your mind if you were a teen, like, especially a young teenager.
So Alex says,
broke my heart. I gotta tell you, I never gave a shit about Dr. Oz. Never gave a shit about Dr. Phil. I already knew it was BS.
Right. Dr. Oz, I blame Oprah for Dr. Oz. But anyway.
And Dr. Phil.
And Dr. Phil. And I like Oprah. I think she's done a lot of things, but Oprah's done a lot of good things, and she continues to. But we all make mistakes. So
let me tell you,
Oprah
is a human being.
Right.
The problem is not Oprah. The problem is that every time Oprah says she likes something, everybody's like, I love it.
Right.
Like I like all kinds of things I find out are bullshit. Right.
So basically you're saying it's the Oprah cult following, which again, no cult following is good.
Amazing. Oprah was the Beyonce of her day.
And there's no cult following. That is a good analogy because again, Beyonce has her beehive and they're crazy too. So anyway, I just said that, so we're about to be in a lot of trouble.
Oprah and Beyonce are flawless.
The beehive? You don't want the beehive after you.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You know what? I just want to say something really quick because you just reminded me. Because Beyonce worked with Nicki. I love Nicki Minaj. Everybody in our house gets a number 2 in Mac Sauce because of Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
If you haven't taken Nicki's advice on that, please do because it'll blow your mind. But it's the changing attitude, right? Because Nicki Minaj couldn't be Cardi B because Nicki Minaj came out in the 90s. Cardi B can be Cardi B because it's 2021. Nicki Minaj couldn't be. Lil' Kim couldn't be. So I just want to put that out there because
you're right. You're right.
It's hard out there for women, and it's especially hard out there for women who are black or brown. No lies, right? But I did just get a t-shirt that said, and this is just whatever. If Marsha Clark can get through 1995, I can get through this day. And I love it because it's this reckoning and 2019 through now, where we're looking back on how we treated the women of the 90s, and we're like, oh, that's bad.
Right. So a couple more comments, or we're gonna go another 2 hours. So Alex says, "Good morning."
I can't.
Now Adam Carolla, like the high school friends you thought were cool, and turned out to be giant walking douche canoes. I almost want to throw Jimmy Kimmel in there too, but
Jimmy Kimmel did the opposite. He started out with the Man Show, and now he's the guy that's like, we should have universal health care.
No, I know, and that's why I want to throw him in there, but I don't know if it's fair.
He's like in the middle. He's the guy who found the happy medium.
Right.
Yep.
Renee,
but he's not who he could have been starting with the Man Show.
Renee, we try to keep our stream below 1 hour and 4 hours. And again, when we get someone on here who we have chemistry with, It's hard to shut it off.
Yeah.
But we're gonna shut it off.
Yeah, dinner's ready. I gotta go. I love you guys, but I gotta go.
And Renee, we'll schedule you in the fall because you need to be one of our regulars. We have such a wonderful, great flowing conversation. It takes like 2 seconds. We go from everything with you. We don't ever even. This is why when I put out the copy for our thing, I didn't even like try to say we're going to talk about this because
we're going to talk about whatever.
Right, we're all over the place. But do you want to talk about the wine that you had real quick, and then we're going to wrap?
Yeah. So again, I just want to say it's called Nordico. Hold on, let me find my camera because I don't usually use this. Okay.
Yeah, we all do that.
Nordico, and it is a Portuguese rosé. It's made in northern Portugal, hence the name. And the grapes are only found in Portugal. And I bought this at a specialty shop, and it was only $13. So if you can find it, it's probably not going to be expensive. It was really good. It was really good. I drank the whole thing, which is why I got kind of sloppy at the end. So definitely check it out if you can find it because it was really good. And then, oh, thank you, Daniel. That's so sweet. I love it. Again, I just want to, I said this to Doug in the pre-show before you came on, Greg, but I'm so excited that I got to make it on your show and no national tragedy was happening. And so I don't have to be freaked out about it anymore. I can just come on whenever now. I love it. So thank you.
Yeah. For the record, the last time Renee was on the show was the night that RBG died, literally hours before our show, and we're going to cancel it. None of us wanted to go on. These are facts, and we all did it. And then the time before was during the George Floyd. I believe it was the week or the week after.
It was
and
like
all hell had broken loose.
Yeah.
And Renee was just like, she was just open and upfront about it. Like, look, I don't really want to do this unless you guys want to, especially for the RBG. And we're just like, we're just going to plow through if you want to join us or not. And Renee's like, no, we're all in this together. Let's do this. And
let me just say to you, though, you guys are the best hosts. In both instances, we were aware that there was some serious shit going on, and the things we thought we were going to talk about may not be quite appropriate or might not be the best thing to discuss in the moment, but because of the chemistry and because you guys are such good hosts, like it's always been a pleasant experience here. That's why I want to keep coming back. That's why I came back today, even though part of me was like, if I say yes, is something really bad going to happen? I love you guys.
Right.
And I again, the invitation is open once everybody is vaccinated and once the pandemic is under control. Come visit me. I'll show you my beer store. I'll show you the bottle shop where I got this awesome bottle of wine, and we'll have a good time. Just like we've had a good time on your show. And thank you so much for having me.
All right, Renee.
Always great to have you. Thank you, Renee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry that I cut you off. I'm just
saying it's always great having you on, and this is the thing. We always could go a million hours. So thank you again for being on.
And Doug, I'm going to talk for both of us. Renee, we love you.
I love you guys too. Greg, when are you going to write something and let me edit it for you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Soon.
Okay, good.
We should work on a formal ending and a beginning to this. How about this? To the stream. You can help me do all that.
Okay.
Cool. Renee, stick around if you want. If not, we'll see you soon. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Doug, thanks for another great guest. I always thank you for Renee because I wouldn't know her if it wasn't for you. But I'm gonna jump in here.
I'm very lucky to have met her and glad we could get her on the show.
The best beer I had tonight was the first one. Was the crisp Czech style Pilsner. It probably was the best one because out of all I drank, it had a different profile of all of them. And it tasted differently, and it was fantastically crisp. This one here. No. This one here. Hazy State. Really good. Hazy IPA, double dry hop with Mosaic. I'm going to finish this bad boy here soon. Damn, I don't even know which glass is which. So this one here was third. Justified IPA with that wonderful art with the African American lady. And then we have it was charity beer, so it's fantastic. Wasn't that long in the tooth though, Doug? They said it was long in the tooth. It wasn't that bad, but it was good that they gave me a little disclaimer there. And then this one, I have no idea what to make of it. We were talking, and I couldn't even really. I don't know if you even saw it. Lupulin
Collider.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure this is one that Dave Rogers sent me. It's a double. Top hazy double triple IPA. Okay, this thing smelled weird.
Maybe it's just
tasted weird. I don't know what weird means. Again, this is like my fourth beer out of these four. We had a fantastic guest. We're all involved in the thing, so I'm just like, whatever. We'll just keep it rolling. I'm not even going to. But this one was kind of weird, man. I'm gonna finish it though. So those are my 4, 3, 4.
Whatever.
I didn't even have tequila this week.
I know.
Next week.
This was the last place one again.
No. Why is she on there? Get her off.
Get her off. Hey, you're the one controlling it. Not me. Now, what's interesting is when I read this, they styled this as a classic dry Irish stout with chocolate malt, roast barley, and malted oats, which is why it had so much roasty notes to it. I didn't know that ahead of time. I didn't read it, so I drank all of it. So Renee is super dope. You were right, Lauren.
Facts. Absolutely.
Second place, key lime pie pastry sour ale. Really limey. I love lime, so I love key lime pie. This was really good. But the winner was definitely the s'more stout that was aged a year from Octopi.
Pie!
No, not a surprise, man, because I've done sometimes where the aging didn't really take.
Yes.
This was fucking awesome. This was really, really good. And you have some, open that shit because you will not regret it.
And it's literally in the I brought it out because it was going to be, I was getting low on beer, so it's gonna happen soon, Doug. Let's see here. I don't even know who next week is. Do you? Yeah. Here's a hint on next week.
It's Lauren and Maddie, right? Lauren.
Yes. Lauren's second appearance. Maddie's first.
Yep.
We know them because they play with Legos.
Yeah.
Right? And now I don't think either one
play tech, and they're awesome.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them plays with Legos now, but we'll figure all that out next week. But they're both beer lovers. I don't know if you saw in the group, Lauren has jumped out and went and bought some beer.
Yeah.
A lot of it was Untitled art, which ultimately is Octopi. So we're gonna get to talk to her. Hopefully some of that's made it. I'm not sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, look at Lauren's happy. So we'll see Lauren and Maggie.
We have a lot to talk to her about too. So yeah.
Yes, we do. And we might have a Casey appearance too, which is always if Casey welcome. It's always welcome, but always might be, he just might jump in here and there. And even if he doesn't show up on the promos, Casey might just show up. So there's that. Doug, wonderful.
Yep. Thanks,
love you, brother. See you
too,
next
man.
week. And we love you guys on actually before we go, we can't say enough about the people who comment.
Stay with us the whole 2 fucking hours that we're on.
This motherfucker. This motherfucker.
Yeah.
This motherfucker.
Everybody tuning in. Thank you.
Right.
We're really thankful that you're willing to listen to us blab for hours on end.
Motherfucker. right. So yes, we are thankful for all you guys. You guys make this stream, show, whatever you want to call it, go as long as it does. And we are grateful and thankful for you.